Okay, this is Gemara Zevachim and Daf Pei Aleph. We're holding the very bottom of Pei Amid Beis as we dive into the end of the Mishnah, the mixtures of dam. As the Mishnah concluded, and we see two lines at the bottom of Pei Amid Beis, Matan Arba b'Matan Arba. Before we even begin, let's just be precise. In the case that we're talking about, the way that the Mishnah said it, is we have dam of carbon A that needs to be placed 4 times on the Mizbeach, got mixed with dam of carbon B that needs to be placed 4 times on the Mizbeach. And says in the Mishnah, what do? You nase and you place it on 4 times on the Mizbeach. We like all the learning to be an incredible schos. Refuah Shalema for Gabriel Simcha, Ben Miriam Ahuva, Besoich Sha'ar, Chayli Yisrael. So the kasha that the Gemara is coming to address, as articulated in the Mishnah, is that how do we understand Shitas Rav Eliezer? For Rav Eliezer holds Ein Bila, that we don't view the blood as mixing together. So when we place this dam 4 times, again we have 2 karbanos mixed together, why are we assured that both karbanos had their dam placed on Mizbeach? Answers the Gemara, 2 lines on the bottom. Achenami shenis ariv arba be'arba. The case over here is, as we saw, is it's not carbon A mixing with carbon B. It's 4 shiurim of carbon A mixing with daled shiurim of carbon B. As Rashi 4 lines, 5 lines on the bottom articulates, shir arba matanois b'shir arba matanois. And therefore, when the Mishnah says you place 4 times, it means you place 4 from this and 4 from that, and that's how we're sure that Lamaisa, both karbanos, will have its dam placed on the Mizbeach. Frek to Gemara on the last line, Matan Arba, Matan Achas. The last case in the Mishnah. Again, we think what's the case? Dam from carbon A got mixed with dam from carbon B, and one requires to be placed 4 times in the Mizbeach. One requires to be placed 1 time in the Mizbeach. And the Mishnah said, what do? You place it, says the Mishnah, you place it 4 times on the Mizbeach. And the kasha is, why are we not worried that Lamaisa, it's not for both karbanos? So the Gemara, as we turn over to Amid Beis, the Gemara articulates the obvious suggestion coming off the heels of the previous Gemara. Is that what? Maybe you're going to say it's the same thing. It's not dam from carbon A mixing with dam from carbon B, but rather what is it? It's dam. It's 4 measures of carbon A mixing with 1 measure of carbon B. Says the Gemara, maybe you're going to tell me that the case is indeed that it got mixed 4 from one with 1 from the other. What's the kasha? Ihachi, what shver is? Amrli Rav Yeshua, Hari Over al Bal Taisif. What was the conversation in the end of the Mishnah? The conversation of Yeshua, Rav Eliezer, was it about Taisif? Is it Bal Tigra? Says the Gemara, that would make no sense. Rav Yeshua said to Rav Eliezer, why did not Bal Taisif? Hacha Bal Taisif mehecha. But if the case was of dam with 4, with a dam with 1, 4 types of one with 1 type of the other, there'll be no Baal Taisif, there'll be no Baal Taisif at all. Why? Because it's only a shear of 1 dam mixed with a shear of 4 dams. And therefore, you're not going to have any Baal Taisif. So says the Gemara, a new way of learning Rav Eliezer. And again, if we remind ourselves on Daf Pei, on Beis, we had 3 different shitas in Rav Eliezer. We had a kasha on shitas Rish Lakish, which we did not deal with yet. And when we've been within the shita of Rav Ashi, explaining Rav Eliezer. So says the Gemara, Ela Marava, a new way of understanding. Rav Eliezer says, Rava bebalol loy pligi. Rav Eliezer, the Chachamim, there's no machlekes when indeed the dam is balol, when indeed the dam is mixed together. What's the machlekes? Ki pligi bekoisais. That what happens is I have a kais of dam A, I have a cup of dam B, and I don't know which is which, but they're not actually, the dam is not actually mixed together. Says the Gemara, the Rav Eliezer, Isli Royin, the Rabbanon, less Lahu Royin. And the machlekes is it Royin do we view the dam as if it's going to be mixed? If you look at Rashi over here, it's a lengthy Rashi. If we could just pick out the appropriate words, let's look at Rashi. Elam Arava Kolanach Shani de Shanina Loi Tashinan Devade Atachtoinim Alule Dikitani Bein. No, wait, where is the Rashi? It's gonna be hard to find the line. It's smack in the middle of the Rashi. Okay, let's leave the Rashi. Just gonna make us more confused, and let's leave it as such. So the way that Rava is explaining that what is the machlekes? The machlekes is not whether we view two different dams that actually are mixed, whether we view it as balul, but rather the machlekes is dams that are not mixed. Do we say Ryan? Do we say that we view? Then this is we view that the extra dam, and that's really what Rashi was trying to explain. Do we view that the extra dam could be viewed as a mayim? That when you put extra dam on a mizbeach, are we allowed to say that we're allowed to view this extra dam as if it was water, and if there's no problem in putting it extra on the mizbeach? The Rabbanan say no, and Rav Eliezer says yes. But I ask the Gemara fundamentally on this teretz. You're telling me there's no machlekes regarding dam that was mixed together. We learned in a brayso from Rav Yehuda nechlu Rav Eliezer v'chachamim al dam chadash and azar v'dam oila sheyikrav b'roiva. They did not argue sheyikrav. Did not argue when the two dams get mixed together, and indeed you bring it. But what do they argue? B'revei v'nirva shelo yikrav. They also did not argue that if there's dam from an animal which was involved in the Isser of sodomy, Ravei Avinirva, they as well cannot be brought in the Mizbeach. Alma nechliku. So what do we see in this brayso? Rav Yehuda is explaining that what is the machlokes? Al dam timima, shenizar v'dam balasmam, shav zamer yakriv bim bal bim koisois chamim leyakriv. So what do we see? We see klar that they're arguing bein bebalul, bein bekoisois. Chachamim are saying no. So we see clear in the brayso the machlekes indeed is when they are mixed together. Explains the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda, who was this brayso that we just quoted, Aliba de Rav Eliezer, Mas Nisan bein bebalul, bein bekoisois, v'Rabbanan bekoisois pligi. Says the Gemara, indeed you have a raya from Rabbi Yehuda, but Rabbi Yehuda is only one way of learning. But the Rabbanan, what does it mean the Rabbanan? The Rabbanan means in our Mishnah, the Tana of our Mishnah disagrees, and he holds that the machlekes of Eliezer and the Chachamim is only going to be if the koises are mixed, but not if the actual dam is mixed together. And that ends Shitas Rav Ashi. And now, Amar Abaye, let's dive a little bit deeper into different machlekes that we had. Machlekes of Eliezer and the Chachamim, when we have dam, the dam that's supposed to be placed lemala, they got mixed with dam that's supposed to be placed lemata. So Amar Abaye, we're smacking in the middle of the Amar. The first one in line is Bekaisais. Says Abaye lo yishanu. The machlekes is only eletz chilas chatos ve'oila. The machlekes is only when it's the beginning of a chatos came mixed with the beginning of an oila. That what? They have to be placing it on different parts of the mizbeach. The chatos has to be placed, of course, lemala mechota sikra, and the oila's dam is placed lemata underneath. Aval seif chatos v'oila. But the end of the chatos, the shirayim of the chatos, which we know is placed where? It's poured into the yisod, the foundation. Hakol makoim oila. Akol different. I skipped. Excuse me. Different. Akol makom oila makom shirayim. Everyone holds that they're both lamata. They both go below, and there's no machlekes at all. That is how Abaye learns. Amli Rav Yosef Acham Rav Yehuda. No shirayim srichin. It's the ball. Shirayim needs to be poured directly onto the yisod, whereas the oila goes lemata mechota sikra, but on the wall of the mizbeach. Like Abaye, Amar Rav Yechanan, V'itema Rav Lazar, Adayin he machlokes. So two different ways of learning. What is this machlokes of Lazan the Chachamim regarding the mixture of the dam chatos and the dam oila? So Masiv Rav Huna Bar Yehuda. 10 lines to the bottom. The first one line is Huna Akasha. That which we just said, that the shirayim of the oila of the chatos, has to be placed directly into the yisoid. Kaidash Haim, says the Torah by the Bachar, she'in this arev b'dam kodshim acherim. This teaches us that if the dam of the Bachar is mixed with the dam of other karbanos, yikravu, they're still brought in the mizbeach. My love, what's the case? If oila Bachar, it's the end of the oila, the shirayim, which has to be placed into the yisoid, came mixed with the beginning of a Bachar. So what do we see? If that were to be true, then the place of the oila is indeed the place of the shirayim, and not like we just said that the place of the oila is on the wall of the zech. The shirayim is directly into the yisoid. Answers the Gemara, lohi tchilas oila ubechar. Umay kamashlam. What's the chiddush? De'ein oilin mevatlin. That the one carbon is not mevatel each other, because they're both put in the same type of the mizbeach. That is, that even if you had more of one than the other, it would not be mevatel it. Says Gemara, hi mivalach midam apar midam asar nafka. We already know this from a different pasuk. Answers the Gemara, Tanoihi, Ika denafkale mehacha, Vika denafkale mehacha. Machlekes, what is the makar that the dams will not be mevatel each other? Masiv Rava, asks Rava 1 second, says in the Torah, Vikrivinei Aaron as Adam v'zargu as Adam. What do we learn out from this pasuk? My tam Elohim, we turn over to Pei Aleph Beis. My tam Elohim, dam dam. Why does the Torah have to say the word dam 2 times? Sheyachol, I would think, Ein liela elushin is arvu bitmurasa. I would think that the halacha of the mixture of dams, that the carbon oila got mixed, is only bitmurasa, with the temura, without which one transfers the carbon onto another carbon oila or an animal without kedusha. That's what I would have thought. Sha'av mechayim, that even when they're alive, tikrav, that even if they got mixed together when they're alive, lamaisa, you would still have to bring, you still be allowed to bring the carbon oila. But what's the kasha? 3 lines down, Pei Aleph Beis, minayin the rabbis, taida ushlamim, marbani taida ushlamim, shabayim beneder nedava, kimaisa, that a shlamim and a taida is brought as a neder nedava, like the oila. Minayin the rabbis, esa asham, marbani esa asham, shetayin matan dalid, kimaisa, like the oila. B'char u'maisa u'pesach minayin, damlay mar dam dam. So what do we see? We see that the pasuk of dam dam is utilized for this din. So says the Gemara, my love, that what's going on over here, Saif Oila Ubachar, is it not the Shirayim, the dam from the end of the Oila, and the Bechar, and therefore what? 8 lines down, Ushma Mina, Makam Oila, Makam Shirayim. And then Nachama, we have a Raya, that the place of the Oila is the same place as the Shirayim. Meaning that it's not necessarily straight into the Yisoid. Says the Gemara, Allahi Tchilas Oila B'char my Kamashlan Dein Oila Mevalin Zeh Ay Mevalakach Midam Abar Midam Asar Nafka Tanoi Yitzmach Legis Tanoi Mikinafkle Meacha Vikandanafkale Me Hacha. So says the Gemara, so why Lemaisa do we have this Machlekes Tanoim as to the Makar that the dams are not mevatel each other? Why not? Because they hold that we do not mix the dam of the animals as it applies to placing it on the horns of the mizbeach. Midam dam lo yalif. They don't learn out from dam dam. Excuse me. Midam dam lo yalif. And the other sheet holds you don't learn out from dam dam. Why not? Because dam dam lo mashbilu. Ella mevikidesh heim. My taima lo yalfi. Kasavri kodesh heim Hey Mekarivim vein Timurasa Kariva Ve'edach Navkale me im shar imsel Hashem hu karav but ve'ein Timurasa Kariva. Continues the Gemara, continuing this last din that we've been talking about. That where are the shirayim of the chatos placed? Is it b'yisayid or is it on the wall like the karban oila? Again, just to be clear, you can either place the dam on the wall of the mizbeach, lamala mechota sikra or lamata mechota sikra, or you can pour the dam into the yisayid, the foundation around the mizbeach. And the question that we've been discussing is, where do we place the shirayim of the chatas? The actual chatas is placed on the wall of the mizbeach lamala. The actual oil is placed on the wall of the mizbeach lamat. Where is the shirayim of the chatas placed? So Tashma says the Gemara, if the kohen put the dam that was mixed, the oil and the chatas above the chutas sikra without asking, Rav Yaz and the Chacham agree, and then now you go and you place it below. And they both work. So my laugh. That what's the case over here? That the blood of the chatas came mixed with the blood of the oila. And once it's placed limala, now whatever dam is left has a din of shirayim as remnants because we already placed the dam. And therefore Shema Mina Makam Oila Makam Shirayim. So the Gavaldik Raya, that the same place you place the oil Lamat Bechota Sikra is where you place the Shirayim on the wall of the Mizbeach. Says the Gemara, no, because Rabbi Yosef Amar Amrim Rav Acham Ayaskina Kigoin Tiarev Chatas Chitzayna B'Shirayim, where the dam of the Chatas, the outside Chatas, came mixed with the remnants of the inner Chatas. It's not the case of Stam Oil and Chatas, it's talking about the case of the two different Chatayis. That's the case they got mixed together. Amarle Abaye v'nei Marki on the Arif B'Shirayim. So why don't you be clear that's the case? Says the Gemara, Dalma Kamashlan Afilu Madam Shirayim Akvin Chasroi Einoi Me'akev. The fact that it's listing a little bit, it's not Me'akev. So one more Kasha, Amarle Ravata Yisvala Ravina Kimna Hayi Beruba El Yaina. But we said that case over here is there was a majority of the upper bloods, v'kayav lamala shir tachtainim va'oid amar lei, and kasha number 2, tachtainim va'oid, excuse me. So amar lei, he responds, hani milaman da'amri mi'ikara in bila maskana. Though, as we start off today realizing is that they're not arguing about bila, but rather they're arguing only b'kaisais. Therefore, there's no problem explaining the case like this. We'll pick it up from the Mishnah on the next year. B'siyata tishmai.